Okay, think back to high school for a second. You probably learned how to dissect a frog, you definitely had to memorize the quadratic formula, but did anyone ever sit you down and explain a Roth IRA? What about a credit score? Or even just the magic of compound interest? Yeah, probably not. And there's a real reason for that, and honestly, it's probably going to make you a little angry. So let's get into it.
Right? We all graduated knowing about photosynthesis, but had zero clue how a 401k works. We could write a whole essay on the Great Gatsby, but had never even heard of an index fund. For years, you might have told yourself, I'm bad with money. But what if that was never the real story?
I want you to let this sink in, because it's the most important point we're going to make. Your struggles with money, they are not a personal failure. They are the direct result of a huge systemic gap in our education. You didn't fail the system. The system well and truly failed you.
So let's actually talk about this gap. The giant space between the diploma you earned and the practical knowledge your bank account desperately needed you to have. And trust me, this gap has a very real price tag.
This is the million-dollar question, isn't it? I mean, why was this absolutely critical life skill so obviously missing from the thousands of hours you spent in a classroom? The answer, it turns out, isn't just some simple oversight. It's a lot more complicated than that.
The reason really boils down to three big forces that have pretty much guaranteed our silence and our confusion when it comes to money. It's a story about history, about how industries make a profit, and, well, about the things we're told we're just not supposed to talk about. Okay, first up, history. Our public education system, for the most part, was designed way back during the Industrial Revolution, and its main purpose? To create good workers for the factories. People who show up on time, follow the rules, and don't rock the boat. The goal was never to create a nation of financially independent thinkers. It was to create productive and, more importantly, compliant employees.
And that leads to a pretty uncomfortable truth. A worker who actually understands how to build their own wealth, well, they have options. They have leverage. They don't have to put up with a bad deal just to pay the bills. They are way harder to control. And the system, by its very design, never had a real incentive to create people with that kind of power.
Part 2 of our story is industry. The financial services industry is worth trillions of dollars, and a massive chunk of that money comes from customers who don't fully get the products they're buying. I mean, just think about it. The average credit card interest rate is over 20%. That's not a mistake in the system, it's a feature. It's a business model that works perfectly when people don't know there are better alternatives.
And finally, there's the culture around money. In our society, talking about what you earn or how you invest is still one of the last great taboos. It's considered rude or crass or braggy. So what happened? Generations of parents who were never taught this stuff themselves raised kids without having these crucial conversations. Not because they didn't care, but because culture told them it was a private and often kind of shameful topic.
So, you put all that together, the history, the industry, the culture, and what do you get? Well, this collective ignorance isn't just some abstract idea. It has a real dollars and cents cost that you might be paying every single year without even realizing it. Take a look at this number, $1,506. According to studies, that's how much the average American adult loses every single year just due to financial illiteracy. That's money lost to needless bank fees, high-interest debt, and just plain bad decisions.
But here is where it gets absolutely mind-blowing. It's not just about the money you lose. It's about the potential you never get to realize. If you had just invested that $1,500 every year at a pretty standard 7% return over 30 years, it would have grown to over $147,000. That is the real price of the education you never got. And who's cashing in on this? Well, check this out. In 2023 alone, banks in the US made over $7 billion just from overdraft fees. That's a fee that almost exclusively hits people who were never taught basic cash flow. It's a whole economy built on ignorance. Okay, that's a lot and it's pretty frustrating. But here's the good news. You do not have to wait for the system to fix itself. You can start closing that knowledge gap for yourself right now. So let's talk about 3 super simple first steps you can take today. All right, step 1, break the taboo. Just have one 5-minute conversation about money with a friend this week. Let's normalize it. 2, don't try to learn everything at once. That's overwhelming. Just pick one new concept a week. And 3, automate one good habit. Set up an automatic transfer to your savings account, even if it's just for $25. Because willpower is unreliable, but automation is your best friend.
So, as we wrap this up, if you only take one single thing away from this explainer, please let it be this. Your financial situation is not a reflection of your character. It is not a character flaw.
It's really not your fault. You didn't start out behind in life because you were irresponsible or bad with numbers. You started behind because no one ever gave you the map.
So from now on, I want you to think of this as a curriculum gap. And you know, the beautiful thing about a gap in your knowledge, it can be filled. You absolutely can learn this stuff. You can start drawing your own map beginning right now.
So I want to leave you with this question. What's the one thing about money you wish someone had taught you when you were younger? Drop your answer in the comments below. I really do read all of them, and I guarantee you your answer is going to make someone else feel a lot less alone on this journey.
And hey, if this made a few things click for you, if it made you see things a little differently, make sure you subscribe. We're all here trying to build the map that we were never given, and we're doing it together. No jargon, no shame, just the map.